Hey, good morning. Flip everything, huh? Flip everything. Flip Anything USA. Tom here. It's fairly early in the morning. It's about 6. I've been up since 5. I got to get my boys off to school here in about a half hour, and I thought we'd just talk about what to talk about in the coming. And this is my routine: getting up early. I gotta make some coffee here. Usually I just go grab coffee. But I got a couple housekeeping things I got to take care of today. But I thought we'd talk about pretty much what to talk about. I've got the studio up, as you've seen, and you know, I did kind of a basic lesson yesterday. Probably hit the ground running today, and maybe get something out on. Somebody suggested do something on assignments, which of course is doable. Very easily doable, actually. Let's see. And I'm hoping we got a better connection. Can you guys hear me okay? Is everything good? I see we got some early birds. But so with the whiteboards, wasn't feeling all that good yesterday, but it seems like good enough on the lesson, I guess. I hadn't really, I like to do everything off the top of my head. Maybe sometimes things suffer. But I thought I'd talk about the flip anything mentality. Okay, good, man. Thanks. Glad to hear it, Fresno. Just the mentality of having, my mindset, which is, I look at every purchase as an opportunity to make money, or at the very minimum, be a hedge against, if it's going to go down in value. In other words, even a car, if I can buy it right, of course, I'm going to reap the benefit of using it for an extended amount of time, and hopefully it'll still be worth, close to what I paid for it when I do turn it. My boys have been bugging me to buy a kind of a nicer car, and I've thought about it, kind of like that Porsche Panamera. They're pretty nice. I have a hard time buying a car that costs as much as a house, but who knows? I may do it, or I may buy one that's maybe a couple years old and get a bargain on it. I'm hoping we get John Brady over there in the UK. Says usually the broadcasts are too late for him because I run them at night. This one's in the morning, so it ought to be catching him before the end of the day. But he's probably in the middle of work now. So I'm looking for suggestions what to cover in the upcoming videos. Obviously, we're going to get into deals, but I think also part of it is that mindset of buying things to flip. Just looking at things as an opportunity to make money, and also not just real estate, but real estate, of course, where the big money is. What's my favorite, but primarily, just that mindset of going after things. Now, what if there's anything we're weak on? I could go into talk about the importance of title report. I'm thinking about kind of breaking things down, like why are surveys important? Give you a lesson on surveys. I can also tell you, actually I kind of went through a little bit of a scare. I bought the lake house deal. Actually, I bought the last 3 houses I bought. Hey, Mr. Webb, good morning. But I thought about like the importance of surveys, and I'll tell you, I bought properties without surveys. If I'm buying in a tract of homes, I don't really much worry about a survey. Sometimes the bank worries about it. If I have a bank involved, then they want a survey, and so we'll do it. Spend $270, $300 for that. But most times, if I'm paying cash or if it's owner finance, I don't even worry about a survey. Now, title insurance, gotta have title insurance. Gotta have title insurance. And so I thought I'd do a quick lesson. Do you guys like the lessons if I just spend 15 minutes, like a micro lesson I call it, where I just talk about one particular subject, kind of cover it, in the casual way that I do, but still kind of get to the meat of it. Does that work for you? I know some of you just kind of listen to my stuff more than watch, which is great. If you can follow me, that's fantastic. You know, follow what I'm saying, I'm talking about. But anything, listen, my whole goal is to make you guys money. You know, in the end here, this is a blog for my boys to follow. So if I don't have it covered, you let me know, and I'd sure love to hear about it. And that's what we'll do. Let's see. Okay, people, okay. I appreciate that. So getting stuck on the contracts, well, you saw, let's see, long technical videos are always a joy. Huh, okay. Well, I can ramble on, you know, and sometimes I do, and we stumble onto different things, but it's always good, I guess. For me, it's better for me to focus on whatever deal I'm doing, and of course hearing whatever problems you're going through always helps, because I can relate back, and because like I say, you know, I've forgotten a lot of stuff, but it comes back to me as we talk about it, or you know, or as the situation develops, and you know, whatever we're talking about, the problems always make me remember back on, oh yeah, 20 years ago I did this, or you know, it could be 2 years ago, or it could be 10, 30 years ago. Like title insurance, that was interesting, because the very first property I bought when I was 19 years old, you know, the one that got me really excited about all this real estate stuff, it ended up being a harsh lesson on title, the insurance of title insurance, because I refied that property, and there was 5 underlying notes on that $110,000 note that I was paying on. It was wrapped in what you call, see, we're going to learn something right now. And this is good. This is good. About title insurance. So I'll do a whiteboard video today on this. The first property I bought had 5 notes under it. One guy was owed 13, another guy was owed like 20, another guy was owed 30, another guy was owed maybe 40, and another guy, I don't know. But anyhow, total about 110 between the 5 of them. So when I did a refi through, doesn't matter, I can't remember the bank anyways, but anyways, a commercial lender. In fact, my old banker there, Dave Firmeister was my banker back then, and we'd go get a margarita probably twice a week on the bank. But I was a good customer, and they made money off me. So anyways, we did a refi, and so the bank brought the money to the bank, or they brought the money to title for me, and paid off all 5 of these guys. Well, what happened was the title company, or the escrow company, I use them both, you know, they're synonymous to me, but they overpaid one of these guys. They basically gave this guy's money to this guy. And so this guy got 0. This guy got, I think, 13,000 more than he should have received. And so in the end, they get paid off except for this one guy. And he ends up, even though I've got my building on refi, he starts to foreclose on me over the $13,000 he was owed. And somebody says, hey, Tom, I saw you in the paper today. I said, in the paper for what? They go, oh, it looks like you're in foreclosure. I go, what? And sure enough, I was in foreclosure on a property because of $13,000 that didn't get paid off. And so I called the title company. I said, hey, man, you guys got to fix this. Well, they were just trying to pressure the one guy that they overpaid to give the money back. And he wasn't budging, And now I'm getting closer to a foreclosure. I'm not going to let it happen, but I was getting closer. And I didn't let my name be in the paper saying I was in foreclosure either. So I started to pressure the title company, and then I gave them one hard push one day, and they ended up sending a courier out there with a what do you call it? I can't even think of it. Too early in the morning, I guess. Golly. Anyways, somebody to go out there and pay these guys off. They paid that guy off the $13,000, and then that guy signed off on the note, and I was out of foreclosure, and that took care of that. But if I had not had title insurance, that wouldn't happen. Of course, if I hadn't had title insurance, I would have been paying the guys off directly myself, and they would have all gotten paid correctly too. But you don't always have that option, and sometimes the deals can be much more, expensive to deal with, and you definitely want title insurance. So, anyways, that was my first early lesson in title insurance and the importance of it. But there's that, and then there's assigning deals. Batman TV. Great, man. Sorry, man. I don't. I've got a little screen to look at, and but I appreciate the comment. I'm glad you found me on FlipMan. I'm going to have FlipMan on here too. I'm going to interview Ty. So Ty is a great guy. I think it's in Alabama, and he's a wholesaler. He's done these deals with no money, meaning he gets in the middle there and gets between what somebody wants and what somebody has, and he makes some money. And really, that's what we all want to do. That's what I do. Is I get between what somebody wants and what somebody has. That's where you want to be. That's the sweet spot, because you're getting between the money and as long as you can get a piece of the action, even if it's just in an assignment, that's a great place to be. And as you progress and you got more money, you can just buy it, close it, then turn the property. And it takes a lot of pressure off when you can just pay cash for things. But I know it's not always possible. But it actually is always possible. If you get a really great deal, you're not going to have any problem finding money. That's the truth. That's the truth. And if you do, and sometimes you get greedy. Believe me, I've probably lost $1 million, maybe $1.5 million on one deal, and this is only about 5-6 years ago. Yeah, about 5 or 6, maybe 8 years ago now. Yeah, it was about 5-6 years ago. Anyways, and part of it was because I wanted that damn thing all to myself. Okay. And so sometimes, hogs get slaughtered, okay? So I shouldn't have been such a hog. I should have just, I could have found somebody. But I wanted it all on my own, and I was already spread pretty thin. And then I didn't like the way the elections rolled 5 years ago. I was disappointed who got elected president 5 years ago. And so I just said, the hell with it, and I let it go. And in hindsight, it was a mistake. I knew it was at the time. But I was pissed, and I just didn't care. Fresno, listen, I've done it a lot of different ways. I've done, and I'm reading while I'm talking, guys, sorry. I've done letters. In fact, I'm going to send out probably 275 letters. Yeah, pigs fed, hogs slaughtered, huh? Is that what it is? So I've sent out letters. I've sent out letters plenty of times. In California, I probably sent out, 50,000 letters, okay? But it's not something I do all the time. It's not something real regular. If I want to go find a property in a certain area, man, I will. I'll just go. I'll look. I'll drive it. I'll mail out letters. But I mailed out 350 letters, and I got 2 terrible responses. So this is not that long ago, and so I was like, geez, man. But I think people are just inundated with that kind of mail right now too, and that's okay. It makes it kind of a creative writing contest, right? And I can tell you, everybody, there's people I see yellow cards, pink cards. I get stuff because I have a lot of real estate, so I get stuff all the time. People trying to buy my property, and so I see what's going on out there just because I have enough stuff out there that I get it's like tentacles. I get a feel of everything that's going on as far as wholesalers and people contacting me or trying to contact me, and it wakes me up. I'll say, hey, these guys are trying to buy in my neighborhood, and then I go down there and I hustle a little harder, and I try to make sure I can take whatever deal there is there too. And what's funny is when I see these, people, bombarding these neighborhoods with the mostly they're using like brightly colored 3x5 index cards. I don't know if that's the best approach or not. If you get a letter and it looks like it's handwritten, you'll probably open it. I would if I had a handwritten letter. And and so I've done a lot of that too. It's a pain in the ass, but I've done it. But You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with business too. You know, if you can have just a good looking little business envelope that's just like says, bam, you need to open this. Okay, but you have to figure out that. And maybe we'll talk about that someday. Because I got a lot of different approaches on some of that letter stuff that I've used that's worked well for me. But I don't do a lot of it. But you know, but a lot of times if I find a property that's of interest, it could be just one property. I'm like, I want to find out who owns this. I will write just that one personal letter. And I'll maybe write them several letters, you know, and say, hey, look, if you don't know, let me talk to who does. And, but, you know, really, I always say, work alone. Be totally independent. Don't rely on somebody else to motivate you. You got to find that within yourself. You know, I've been doing it, and, you know, before I got married, you know, I was 100% self-sufficient, and then when I got married, it didn't change a thing. You know, it didn't change a thing. My wife really had no interest in any of this stuff, and so, and still doesn't. Still has no interest in this stuff. You know, we pull up in front of a place. She'll say, "Why are we stopping here?" And I go, "Oh, we own this." She goes, "Oh, I like the T-shirt." Ha ha ha. Yeah. Well, I was actually let's see, which one was this? Yeah, well, I was like an assistant coach. This is one of my boys' teams. But anyways, the main thing is you know, and I tell everybody, it's just that relentlessness. You know, you got to be relentless. Yeah, the app is looking cool, man. I'm about to wrap up the iPhone version. And I've got some other stuff going on to make them, both of them. I mean, I've got the Androids done, but I'm not going to share it till I have 1,000 people signed up to give that thing away. I want to do 1,000 at once. And I know that's kind of a pain in the ass maybe for some of you, but that's the goal. That's the number I set. And that's when I got to hit. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't. I'm sorry. The question was, can I use my home? Can I roll it into something new, even though I'm married? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can. There's nothing would prohibit you from, you know, turning your home into the next deal. You get the same benefit everybody else does, married or not. Now, like, in fact, you mentioned that I've got this house that you know, you're gonna see I've got all these satellite dishes on my rentals. I hate it. I hate the way it looks. I mean, there's like 10, 20 cables running around the outside of the house, you know, going to every bedroom on the, you know, it just looks like hell. Now everything's wireless. So I actually have an electrician today. You don't need an electrician for this, but I have an electrician going to be there today. And I told him, I said, just strip the satellite dishes and all the wiring off, all my empty rentals. I don't want to see that stuff anymore. Two particularly that I'm selling, you know, I'm just getting, it's ugly. It's just ugly, and you don't need it anymore. Everything's wireless now. And so, and I think it just, the curb appeal is so much better when you don't see that. When you walk around it, I mean, it just looks like hell. And so we're pulling all that cabling off the outside of the rentals today. Maybe I'll run over there this morning and shoot some video, and we'll share that with you guys, just a quick video. What do you guys think of these micro lessons or these little micro talks? This is kind of early morning. I mean, it's easy for me to do this because I'm such an early bird anyways. But I'm in the kitchen, you know. It may get a little ugly since it's so quick so early in the morning. In fact, I got some dishes here I need to take care of. But anyways, so you guys let me know what you think, and we'll talk about it. And I think, thanks, Garrett. I think I'll do a whiteboard today. Yeah, good. Oh, okay, you guys like this. Okay, well, this early morning stuff I think is not bad, although I need my coffee, to be quite honest. Hey, Harlem. Right on, man. Thanks, Harlem. Appreciate the kind words. Always good to hear from you. Well, we'll do it. We'll keep doing it. And, oh, yeah, you work nights, huh? All right. Yep, I know. There's a lot of crazy shifts. These cops really have the crazy shifts, time-wise. Uh, but we'll do it. We'll keep doing it. And I'm going to do these whiteboard lessons. They're going to be more centered on that particular subject. And now I look at the video I did yesterday, 13 minutes on contracts, and believe me, I dumbed it down to just the basics. But really, that's really 99% of every contract is just that. Buyer, seller, you know, the terms, you know, just, it's very simple. You know, it's just exchanging, you know, ownership for money. And that's about all there is to it. Other than, you know, when you get into the rentals and things, you know, like I've bought, you know, 58 unit apartment building. Well, now you got to have every single lease, and you need to review every single lease, and you got to make sure if they put a $500 deposit, that goes. That's not part of the sales price. They owe, that money is owed to you in addition to you know, to the property. So when you buy the property, they need to give you all those deposits. So you know, you might have, you know, that was 58 units. You know, so you know, if that's $500, you know, that's $29,000 or $28,000 roughly in deposits that need to transfer to me. So in escrow, $28,000 stays with me, and that goes in my bank account, because you know, if they move out and they leave the place in good condition, they're gonna get that deposit back. And you know, how'd you like to buy a property and start giving people their deposits back when you never had when the deposit never transferred to you? That'd be a lot of fun, huh? Which, it's interesting. I can tell you, I bought 2 apartment buildings side by side. One was primarily filled with Mexican folks, and there were quite a few people per unit. And then the other one next to it was primarily Asian folks. I think it was primarily a Vietnamese community within there, and it was so different. Or maybe Chinese. Anyways, I can't remember exactly. There was a pretty good mix, but primarily I'd probably have to say they were Chinese folks. But the 2 cultures did not mix well. The Mexican folks were all both great, but it was funny. I go into Mexican folks unit, and you know, way more people, and way more kids. And then I'd go into my apartment building that I bought next door, that was primarily, like I said, probably Vietnamese and Chinese, and there'd never be anybody home hardly, or if there was only one person, maybe 2 people, but there was almost no furniture. There was like a pillow, and you know, just very sparsely furnished, and which I really liked. I mean, you come in and it's like, I mean, there was almost, I mean, it was just, you know, like a yoga mat, you know, and a candle, and you know, it was very interesting. And but what happened was, when I started to intermix the Hispanics and you know, and my Asian communities within those 2 little communities of my apartments, the Hispanics won. The Asians, they just like, they liked the peace and quiet, and the Hispanic folks had more people, so there was a little more noise, and so anyways, they overruled. But great tenants both, and it's funny because my Hispanic tenants, what would happen is, I'd have a tenant there for 5 years, always pay their rent, never had to evict anybody, and what is it? What I was going to get at was, I'd go in there and I'd have to maybe update the leases or something, and I'd go in there and I'd find out the guy that was renting from me, he'd already been gone for 3 years, and somebody with the same last name, Gutierrez or something, you know, his cousin is now living there. They just, hey, you can take over the place, and so he took over his, you know, his cousin's place and just kept paying the rent, and I never knew the difference. I didn't know everybody in the building, obviously, but but all I cared was, that they paid the rent on time, and it was just a great community. In fact, I picked up a lot of, I sold those apartment buildings, but one particular person there, Susanna, who's worked for me now for 20 years, was a great find, and she handles the cleaning. You've seen her. If you've seen my flood videos, you saw her and her husband come in, soaking up the water, and they're the ones that they'll come help me. It could be midnight, and if I got a flood, they'll show up and they'll take care of business. And so I really love the Hispanic folks for being so hardworking and just always available. Just always available. I say, man, I need you here at 4 in the morning. They'll be there. If it's, hey, I'm in a pinch, it's 9:30 at night. And I've got plumbers. I'm not saying just Hispanics, but I really do appreciate the Hispanic folks. They really do work hard, and they've been very good to me. So, anyways, anything else we can cover this morning? You let me know. My boys are gonna start. It's time to get them up. It's 6:30, so I'm gonna get on that, get them up, get them fed, and maybe after I grab some coffee, I'll stop over at the house I plan on selling. The one I paid $105 for, that I expect to sell for between, I don't know, $450 and $500. I'm almost thinking about putting it up for $600,000. It's if you saw it, it's a very large corner lot. It's on a busy street. I don't know that it'll ever rezone. It might, but it's still a hell of a big property. Yeah, actually, Susanna's a great cook. In fact, I have another guy, Emilio, that's worked for me. He was actually a cook in the restaurant that I owned. I used to own a restaurant and bar. I was a terrible owner, but I didn't make any money because I just cannot micromanage people like that. But I did make money on the real estate. But yeah, those two folks, Emilio and Susanna, every Tuesday we do a thing called Taco Tuesday at one of my companies. And they make chorizo and eggs or bacon and egg tacos. And I'm in Central Time Zone right now, Jeb. Sometimes I'm in California, but I'm not. I'm Central Time Zone now. So if anybody wants to hear anything or want to talk about any particular subject, you let me know. I'm going to get some coffee and we'll check back. I'm certainly going to do another whiteboard lesson today on something. And so I'm just going to make those very specific lessons so that you'll know that when you go in there, it'll be very specific to, one subject. Although I may drift and talk about some experience, that's going to happen anytime. But it'll be more concentrated on each. And then that way, it's just kind of give you a library. If you need to just talk about contracts again, or if you want to look at assignments, or if you want to look at, I don't know, whatever the subject matter is, it'll be very specific to that. So I think that'll be helpful to everybody. So I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for chiming in and helping me think this stuff through. Always appreciate that. Oh yeah, please share, subscribe, thumbs up, and all that sort of thing. If you don't mind, it helps. And we'll see. The monetization, I did that because my understanding is that YouTube, they kind of frown on non-monetized videos, which makes sense because they're making money. But so that might help us score. I'm watching the numbers, seeing if the subscribership grows any faster because of that. We'll see. But anyways, that's it. Flip Anything USA. Please share, subscribe, hit that notifications. And if you haven't, if most of you know that are with me already, I got a free app coming. Be sure to send me an email, Tom@FlipAnythingUSA, and just put in, Android or iPhone in the subject line, and then I'll know your operating system, and you'll be one of the lucky ones that get it free and get it early. So thanks, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks.